Hello everybody, hey, it's Ken Faulkner and I'm back with another sharpening video. Haven't done many of those. I think this is the second one. Yeah, I'm on Faulkner 5 number 2, the Riot. It did so well on the cut test. If you haven't checked that one out, it did well. We're learning how to do these things. We're trying to perfect the game on sharpening, cutting tests. This is the Faulkner 1, and we seem to get it pretty sharp, even though it didn't do as well in the cutting test as the Riot LEXT. Yeah. But now it seems to be still sharp, quite sharp now. So it's working well, cutting paper at least, but we're not going to go through a full test. Hasn't seen a lot of use since it got sharpened, but yeah, so far so good. This one, on the other hand, did quite well and ended the test, even after cutting a bunch of stuff, ended the test pretty good. In fact, I was messing around with it earlier and it gave me a little poke on that sharp. It's pretty sharp on the front, just barely touched, and obviously you don't see it, which is good. You never like that. You don't want to leave scars. I got a few, but you don't want to do that. Anyway, so I figured I'd just start this one from scratch, showing the Worksharp Professional and how the setup is. We talked about it last time, but I think I had the knife already in there. So what goes on is you clamp it in there, and you got an angle adjustment. I'm gonna move the camera around a little bit so you can kind of see stuff. There's an angle adjustment right here. Pardon the rags and whatnot. So it's got angles. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, we're way off here. Anyway, it's got the angle adjustment, and it does have like a screw that you adjust right here, all that kind of thing. I might as well have it handheld the way I'm, manipulating you guys so much here. Anyway, let's get back to the normal view. So what I'm going to do first, I got the knife. You could even take the blade out if you want. I don't normally do that, but it's just a little bit easier to deal with. But this thing is going to go from side to side. Obviously, when you're sharpening, or maybe not obvious if you're not familiar, you sharpen one side of the edge, and then you flip it over and sharpen the other side of the edge. And when it's manual stones, you're going to go like that, and then you're going to flip the knife over and then do the other side. But on here, we got it clamped in, so we'd like to not only maintain the clamping in one position so that both sides get the same angle, because we did set the angle with that little screw that I mentioned just a second ago. We're going to flip it over using this clamp, so starting from this side. So what it means, since it's going this direction, I want to have my handle out this way on this side, where it's going to, when it flips, it's going to flip like that over the top, because otherwise if you're flipping towards the bottom, your handle is hitting the tabletop, and you don't want that. Another thing, and I'm not the expert, so I'm just kind of showing you the best I know. Now this one does have a spring clamp, where the other one, it was all about this tightening screw. So this one you have to, you have to kind of squeeze it in the back, kind of like a clamp you might use for your chips or something like that. And then what I do like to do is I try to get it even on both sides, depending on the type of edge, the blade shape, the back of the blade, the front of the blade, all that. It can get a little tricky. We do have this big hole here, so it's not really clamping on a large part of the blade, but you can see here we're pretty good. I want to try to get it so that I'm clamped. I don't want to be like that, because I'm not clamping on this side. So I'm going to try to kind of pick the best spot for it, where I get a little bit here, and sure, I'm on the hole here, but I'm going to clamp in this part of the steel, and I'm going to lock it down. It's got a little tighten arrow, so that helps me. I need direction. And you want to kind of get to the point where it's not moving around. So even with that little bit of area that it's clamped on, it does pretty well. It's got like pads in there, like rubber pads to keep it from damaging the steel. You know, put scratches on it. If you want, you can put something in there to protect it. You know, I don't bother with it. Another thing that on the old one, it used to when you're doing your sharpening and you put some pressure on here, it would rock this down a little bit. Now this one's a little bit more sturdy in general, so I don't know that you're going to see a lot of that. This thing is way more robust than the other one was. But this one does have this piece, and I don't want to move it around too much, but it's going to slide underneath, and there's like a little guide for it to slide on, so it fits in to here, and you slide it in. Probably can't see it from this angle. It slides in until it goes underneath there. Now, you can say, hey, Ken, you know, now with it like that, you're not going to be able to flip it over from side to side. Again, I'm going to move you guys over here. Try to be gentle. In the back of this thing, which you can't see, but I can move it now. This piece right here, you can reach over and you see how you lift it up. And when you lift it up, it takes the bottom out of this little notch here, and there's another notch here. So you take it up and you rock it back. And now when we push down this red, you can flip it over. And when you go over to the other side, it's at exactly the same angle as the other one. So when this thing is going back and forth on it, it's going to be at the same angle, theoretically. It's probably not perfect, but it seems to work really well. I've been really happy. I mean, I think that Chavez, the good thing about the test not going well, the cutting test, is that we got to see how it worked, how this sharpener worked to bring back that edge. And I think it did a real good job. So we're going to come in here a little closer. Again, just kind of trying to figure this whole thing out. Try to get in the center. And we're starting, if I can show it to you, we're at a 400 grit. So there's definitely much coarser ones, but since this thing is so sharp right now, and I normally wouldn't sharpen it, I'm kind of starting halfway up the grits. This is like sandpaper, you know, so you get the coarser sandpaper for taking away more material. We don't necessarily want to take away material. Well, we don't want to take away material that we don't have to. So I'm just going to do a couple passes on it. We're going to try to get what we call a burr. And a lot of you guys already know all this stuff and better than me. So I'm just trying for anybody that may not know. So I kind of run my finger underneath here after I've sharpened and try to feel like a little tiny lip there. I don't want a lot of burr, just as, you know, minimal amount, especially if it's really badly dulled out. You probably look for a little bit more burr with a coarser, a lower number of stone. This one's fairly smooth, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know for sure. I haven't really used this one enough to really say. So I'm gonna get over here at an angle, because I might even need to move this a little bit so I can reach it, because I got that phone stand, and I'm trying to do this so you can see it and I don't rock the phone stand over and over again. But I'm going from side to side, and the phone stand's right in the way. I probably should get another one, maybe something that kind of holds it from the top without the stand being so much in the way. Now, I do try to stay very light on my pressure, and that's pretty much what I've heard recommended in general. Now, to set my angle, I actually used the Sharpie trick. I went ahead and did that before the video started. But I put a little, I don't do it across the whole edge. You can, just to make sure that you're getting it. But put a little Sharpie on there, and then you kind of buff it off with the stone, maybe a higher grit stone, just to see that your angle is catching both this lower part of the edge and the upper part of the edge, so that you're about right. And I did end up with, I got my angle finder here. It's 0. Put it up here, and it's about 18 degrees. You can't see that here, but if I tilt, 18 degrees. So anyway, 18 degrees seems to be a good one. And the fact that this thing is so slicey, I'm not surprised. You know, normally a lot of knives you get will come in at from my experience, which, you know, like I say, I'm not the most experienced guy, but a lot of knives will come in with like a 20-degree angle. And that's just going to be how obtuse or acute your angle is. The more acute is going to slice through things better. And that kind of makes sense if you just understand, you know, what's going on with the slicing. So this one's all preset from Riot, from the factory at 18 degrees. And so it's kind of set up for that more slicey angle. 18 is about as far as I tend to go on my angles, because the more acute you get, obviously it's going to slice more, but you are going to lose some toughness, meaning, sorry about all the noise, meaning that it's going to get it's going to dull faster, because the angle is so sharp, so tiny, it doesn't have much metal behind it to support it, to keep it from getting damaged. The more it's like this, the more strength it has, if that makes sense. So 18 is usually as far as I'll go. You know, it just depends on how slicey you want it to be, and you can always play with it, right? I mean, the only thing is that you're taking off metal, and, you know, every time you take off metal, you know, people talk about the sharpening choil. This one seems to have a really, really good one. If I can do this without blinding anybody. The Ricasso's way back here, so you got plenty of room. So if I take off a bunch of metal, I can get all the way to here. It may change, it may affect, and it will affect the thickness behind the edge, if you understand that concept. Because you know, this is a bevel as well up here, and as you take away metal, it's thicker behind the edge. You know, even, you know, if you keep that 18-degree angle, it's gonna get more material. I'm exaggerating, but there's gonna be, it's gonna start out here, and it gets more and more and more as you go back. Definitely exaggerated. It's minor, but yeah. So it's gonna affect the cutting and all that other stuff. So you really do want to, unless it's a beater knife that's inexpensive. If you went down to Walmart and paid $10 for the Ozark Grail, which I still haven't gotten one yet, but you know, I'm in California, and your Walmarts here are not going to sell too much of that stuff. I haven't even tried, because I don't really like Walmart so much here. They don't really take care of their stores. It's kind of crazy. Now I'm getting a really good burr, and it really didn't take too long. And you're going to find that with the, you know, as the edge is getting better. If it's bad, you may have some spots that have burr and some that don't, until you get it nice and evened up. But this was already quite even, so I'm feeling even burr all the way through. Not much. I don't want to feel a lot. I just want to feel enough that I can flip it over and remove the burr, and then do some sharpening on the other side. I realize that this might not make sense. Oops, almost forgot. Gotta do this. Boy, I could feel that edge. I could kind of had it up against my wrist there a little bit. This knife is impressing the heck out of me. You know, this Faulkner 5 has been such a good experience for me. I just kind of used it as a gimmick. Maybe not so much of a gimmick, but a tool to keep me from... so I've already kind of taken off. I didn't have a lot of burr, so I'm already feeling it gone on the top side. So just a few swipes, and we're going to end up with a burr on this side. So it was kind of just a tool to keep me from spending a lot of money. I kind of almost have to fool myself. See, I'm already feeling the burr. And that's what's going to happen. Normally, if it's a bad edge to start with, we got a lot. See, that's steel coming off. Normally, if it's a bad edge, it's going to take a while to get to the point where you get a nice even burr. But once you do, and you start going up in the grit numbers, it doesn't take too long. It just takes a little bit each time, and that way you're really not taking off a lot of material. So put this in its place. Remember this time to rock it up. Got to rock it and rotate it. Rock and rotate. And we'll do it a couple more times. I think, oh, sorry. Yeah, see, I am still learning this whole thing. You know, I did talk about doing a different angle, and I thought about doing a different angle on the cut test. But clearly, because it wasn't so difficult, it worked out really well with this knife. But maybe next one I'll try a different angle. See how we're doing here. Feel that burr. A little bit of burr on the top still. So I'm going to do a couple more little passes. So let's see what we got. Nice and smooth and nice even burr all the way across. And we'll flip it one more time. Try to make it even, but I'm talking, so you know you might catch me not doing the same amount of sides. You know, if I do flip it twice or 4 times, it's always going to try to be. Sorry guys, try to be an even number. And now I'm just trying to take the burr off. We are going to go to the next grit, but I just want to make sure. And don't put a lot of burr on the other side. We'll wait for the next stone. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it over now. I mean, not flip it over, but I'm going to change the stone out. So this thing is magnetic. It's got this cool place for your fingers to kind of grab a hold of it. 2 little holes here to go onto little pins, and I'll take this off and you'll see. So there's a pin here and a pin up here, and then a magnet, and it seems to be a pretty strong magnet. The back side of the stone has metal, so it's stone on one side and metal on the other side, so that it sticks. And I'm going to grab the next one here. We got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stones. What do you call that one? The white one. And then a strop. I can't think of the name. Okay, we're up to the 800. Is that right? We were on 400, so we want 600. Okay, so I'm grabbing it out. Was that right? I don't recall. That's what I get for getting distracted. I don't recall if I was on 600 before. Well, you know, it's going so well. I'm going to go straight to the 800. If I skip one, you know, I think it's still going to be okay. So the 800 is quite smooth. This is my highest grit. But just for the sake of time, we'll go to the next one, which is 800 now. You can tell me in the comments because you guys will remember better than I do. All right, so we're going to go on this side. Not putting a lot of weight, almost just moving it back and forth and letting the weight of the stone itself do the sharpening. I wonder, I mean, am I even going to notice if it's sharper because it was so sharp before? Yep, I'm feeling burr already. And it goes quick. Once you get a nice, even bevel. It goes very quick. Okay, so I got it off of my pin here. I gotta make sure I keep that on there, nice and flat. It's getting, you can hear it's more quiet now because it's a smoother grit. I'm really just kind of getting used to this new sharpener. This is probably like maybe the 5th knife or something like that I've sharpened on it. But I definitely want to do more. And you can get new stones. I mean, if they do get worn out, and they will get worn out eventually, just like sandpaper does. You can get new stones, replacements for it. I have a feeling that this sharpener is going to hold up for quite some time. Nice burr. Because it's so sturdy. I mean, the base of it is solid. It's not rocking back and forth. It even has like bolt holes here that you could bolt it down if you wanted to. So if you have a dedicated bench that you work on and you do a lot of sharpening and you're okay with using that real estate, you know, bolt it down to the table and it's ready to go. There's no real reason for moving this thing around other than rocking it back and forth, but you could leave it bolted. Okay. And this is the highest number stone that I have. Now, I don't know. I know that they have a more advanced kit that I may get at some point, I hope. And it may have some finer stones for it, and like a carrying case and stuff like that. It's cost a bit more money. This is like the $250 model. When it first came out, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was like $300, and it was just like, wow, that's a lot for me. That's a pretty nice knife. Burr. I think I'll flip it twice more, and I may be miscounting again. I don't know. I'm talking and stuff, but I'm sure it's going to turn out. The results are going to be good. This thing's going to cut well. Anyway, I think it has, like, you know, I don't know, maybe an extra $100 or something for all the rest of the stuff, like a carrying case and more stones and all kinds of cool stuff. But I am definitely convinced that this is going to be a long time sharpener for me. Maybe you know, the last sharpener I ever buy, unless of course they come up with another version that just somehow manages to outdo this one. Nice. Gonna flip it. And I'm sorry. I probably won't continue to do these sharpening videos, maybe once in a while, but for the Faulkner 5, I'm really kind of trying to fill it out because, you know, and I really thought I was gonna run out of content because you only have 5 knives over a month, 5 weeks, and you think, well, I'm gonna run out of stuff to show. But with the first one where I do all the weights and the measurements and stuff, the second one where I'm doing the cutting, the third one where I'm doing the sharpening, and then the fourth one is just pretty much switching between to the next one. I mean, that's a total of 4 videos for each knife. So it ends up taking up most of the week, and I'm still trying to do my collection videos, as you may know. And so yeah, it's filling up my time. And then this week I took 1 day off other than Friday. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to probably do another. See how my bevel. I'm going to do a quick bevel removal. So when you get to the end, you do like a bevel removal kind of pass. You want to try to be really even on how you do your stone, because you can make a kind of like more grinding on this side than the other side if you're not careful. Some people kind of do their stone up and down and slide it to the side more. That way it kind of evens it out. And something like that is going to take the bevel off. So you don't want to do a whole lot, because the main thing is that you want to, at the end of the day, you're going to have a bevel which is going to be kind of like that on one side and then like this on the other side, exaggerated. At the end of the day, you want it to be even on both sides. So now it feels pretty good. I don't feel much of any kind of bevel on either side. So I am going to put on the ceramic rod. That's what it is. Couldn't think of the name earlier. And, I don't think, depending on what you want to do with your knives, you can keep it down at a lower grit and make it more toothy, if you understand what that means. And sometimes you find that some steels just are better being less toothy. Okay. So here's the ceramic, but we are going to go all the way up the grits on this one. Now with a ceramic rod, you're not taking off as much material as much as just kind of getting it shaped. Kind of like a strop. You don't really take off material with a strop, in theory. I guess if you put an emulsion on it and get like some diamond emulsion, you will take off some, but you're really not talking. This is more of a polish, so that that edge that you have there isn't gonna. And if you look at it under a microscope, you will see a very rough looking edge. Even though you can't, with the naked eye, you really can't see that. I don't know if this is getting to the point of being like a mirror. Not really. You can still see some like scratches along there. I'm not so much of a mirror edge guy. I just like performance rather than the looks so much. And at this point, running my finger across, it's very smooth. So let's get this up here. And we're going to rock it back and flip it over. It's going quite well. The knife's staying in place. Like I say, you want to try to make sure that you get a good, even with that hole there, I'm managing to keep it in a good place, and it's fairly even. So, sometimes when you have a big belly or your tip's up high or something like that, you really have to manipulate it. And sometimes you don't end up with quite so even. With this one, the way it is, we're pretty even from here to here. This one may be a little closer. And it's going to actually change your angle slightly, but not noticeably. But this one seems to be sharpening quite well. And we're just going to kind of clean it up here. We're just about done. And like I say, I don't even know how much better it can do on the paper than it did at the end of their test. It's doing so well, except for the fact it had a little goo on it. But it's cleaned up now. I think this is pretty good. If I had like a camera attachment where you can see with the little telescope type thing, that would be kind of cool. Is that Adventure 50, somebody like that has something along those lines? They'll take a picture of it underneath the microscope, and you really see how even. What you really, because you get enough magnification on it, and you're going to see really rough grind lines, but you want them to be nice and even and all in the same direction. And I think that's the way this one's going to be. It does have the strop. I really haven't used it because I usually use a hand strop. So I'm not going to use it right now. In fact, I'll get my hand strop out here that I was using the other night. I was talking about that. But I think for now, we are done with the sharpener. Squeeze that. Loosen out. Yeah, it feels nice and clean. Move this out of the way. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Still a weekend for me. You know, I was doing that camping knife video, and I actually missed a couple. I found them over next to me on the couch. I'm going, dang. So I'm probably going to do a short video with 2 more of that size-ish, the camping size knives. That is just kind of an addendum to the one that I did yesterday. That won't take very long. This one, we're at 30 minutes. Wow. It's crazy. We're just kind of seeming to land at the 30-minute mark. So this is obviously I'm usually grinding, especially if I do it hand. I'm going towards the edge, and this one I'm going away from the edge on the strops. I think some people have different opinions on that, but this is pretty much what I've heard from most people, and it seems to work really well. Okay, so I hope that was that even on camera? I got to pay attention to it, but that's basically how it works, and it's stropped up now. There's a little bit of a compound on there, so I like to clean it off after it's done. Nice clean edge, not mirror, but pretty clean, and it looks nice and even. I'm gonna stay away from that tip because that got me already today. Yeah, I'm gonna take a drink of some water. And we will finish this up. We got, this one is the Sage 5. I don't know if they're at an alphabetical order. It's page 109. How many pages is in that catalog? I don't even know if I've gone through half of it, to be honest with you. It's a lot of pages. I'm kind of like just kind of laying the knife on it. I'm not even really putting a lot of pressure. Trying to get like a curly cube. I'm not the best at this either. A little bit of a tear, which is kind of surprising. Anyway, just a regular cut without getting too fancy. You can hear how quiet it is. How smooth it cuts. All the way through. We'll go from top to bottom. Pretty much kind of just laying it down onto the paper. It goes from top to bottom. That thing is sharp, and a lot of it I think has to do with that edge geometry that they have, and it's got the 18-degree bevel. Really cool. I was doing this with this the other day. Remember, we were talking about that detent. I think that is a proof positive that it does have a detent, because I am not able to shake it out. Most of the crossbar locks and even button locks and stuff that have a spring that is holding that detent in, you can shake it out, but this one doesn't. And I put a pretty decent amount of force on it. I'm 99.9% sure that this has a detent ball down in here that's up in a hole holding that thing in place. So the lock's been great. I haven't had any issues with the lock. This is really well designed and works really well. Someone was talking about left-handed. I'm not great with flicking knives left-handed. They were talking about using the index finger. Seems to work pretty well. It's awkward for me just because I'm not good at doing left-hand flicking. I do try to practice it, but yeah, I don't do it that much. And another thing I can actually do with this one is I can flip it over and just drop it out that way, and that's using like the middle finger on the button. So you can find that button pretty dang easy, even with different fingers, So I just got it, my middle finger on there, and just flick it down, and then you're in that reverse grip. It really is quite good. I mean, I am just so impressed. The lock works. We saw how it worked when we had it apart. This G10 feels really good. Or not G10, it's micarta. But whatever you call it, it's very much feels like G10, which is good because it's not that FRN feel where it's flexing. It's very, of course, it does have steel liners like we saw, very skeletonized. Feels nice and lightweight. What I should have done is gone out and got like a tomato or something, because it does very much have that that look of a chef knife with the knuckles above the cutting surface. I would really like to see how this would cut through a tomato, but I wasn't as prepared as I should be. Maybe someday I will have mastered this whole, because I'm going to just, and I can see I'm even off camera. I got to adjust this and bring it down close, personal. So I don't know how much of that, even that, maybe 50 years from now. Well, I'm not going to make it that long. Oops, see, there we go again. There we go, adjusting. All right, yeah, crazy camera work on this one. But yeah, maybe 10 years from now, I'll have 1,000 subs and I'll be a little bit better. We'll see. Right now, I'm like hanging around 780, just floating, just creeping. Maybe after Blade Show, maybe I'll get a little bump. No big deal. If I never make 1,000, it's not the end of the world. I don't know. You have to jump through some hoops to get monetized, and I may never even do that just because I'm too lazy. I've said it before. I'm one of the laziest life YouTube guys out there. But it's really about me having somebody to share with, and that's you guys. And so, enough talking. 36 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.